Howdy everyone, and welcome to day 4 with my Extreme Mustang Makeover mare. On day 4 we covered an introduction to leading. Starting out teaching a horse to lead, I try and just get their face to yield a little bit to the side and then for their feet to follow through. Sometimes I take it a little bit slower, but this mare I felt didn't have a ton of fight in her. Even when she did put up a little bit of a fuss, it was really easy to hang on and help her get the right answer. So I did push her a little bit faster than I usually do when halter breaking horses. I'm also in a smaller pen, which kind of helps and hurts a little bit. It helps because her reactions aren't going to be very, very huge. She's not going to pull all the way out of my hands and go galloping across the pen. It helps me keep her more contained and hold on a little bit better. Even when she pulls away like this very dramatically, I'm able to hang on easily and walk with her, kind of give her the slack that she needs, and then help her find the right answer once the dramatic moment is done. So when she does pull away like that, I like to compare it to fishing. When you have a big fish on the line, you don't want to pull back with all your might when they're pulling against you, because you have a chance of snapping your line or straightening out your hook or losing the fish. So what you actually want to do is let them pull and just keep steady pressure, and then when they get tired of pulling, the fish that is, not the horse, when the horse realizes that pulling away isn't the right answer, then you can start to reel them back in and work on getting that right answer, which is getting the feet and the head to yield off of that pressure. Now what I was trying to do here, you'll see backfires a little bit. I was trying to send her shoulders away in kind of a lunging circle, and she instead turned away from me and got flipped around. That's okay, no big deal, as long as I hang on to the rope, wait for her feet to stop, and then for her to look at me, I can flip that over and then get back to where we were working. I like to teach leading off of lunging circles sometimes, so that I can teach a horse how to stop their feet to the rope pressure and how to yield laterally. Also adding that forward momentum can help them learn how to come forwards into you with a little bit of momentum once they're ready to learn that step. This time you'll see I am successful in asking those shoulders to move away. It takes her a little bit to figure out exactly where I'm trying to send her energy, but once I move those shoulders away, I try to give her a little bit of room to move before asking for the stop. Now the other hard part about this pen is that tree, so I am trying to avoid her going around that tree and getting wrapped around it, which is why I give her just a short amount of space to move before I have to ask her to stop to get into that tree. This time I moved her shoulders over the other direction and was able to achieve even better what I was looking for. And here I go again, shoulders back to the left, keeping her in front of the tree. She's sticky about moving those shoulders over. She was really sticky on that side, so I just keep moving with her until she's ready to give me those shoulders, just playing with the amount of pressure and giving her a nudge in the right direction with the halter if I need to do so. Again, that tree's kind of getting in my way, so I stop her, send her the other way, and you can see she's a lot more fluid going that direction. I let her move out further and then ask her feet to stop, and she actually picks this up pretty quickly. So now that I've got the space, I ask her shoulders to move back over, and there I'm able to really achieve what I was looking for, give her lots of space to move out before asking for that stop. So now I go back to weaving back and forth while putting pressure on the halter. I'm looking now not only for her head and feet to yield sideways, but for a little bit of forward motion as well. Specifically, I'm looking for not just the front feet to cross over in front of each other, but for the back feet to unlock and start to walk forwards. Now she gets kind of stuck behind this tree here, so I just ask her to back up, and she's not quite sure what that means, so I just hang on, get her nose pointed towards me again, and then go back to working my side-to-side motion, seeing if I can get those feet unlocked and moving forward so that I can give her the reward for giving the right answer. So while you can see here that she's doing a good job of following me around, her feet aren't going forwards, they're actually going backwards. So I start using my free hand to add a little bit of pressure behind her hips, see if I can help her out and get her thinking about moving forwards off of this pressure and not sucking backwards like she's doing. And when she's really stuck, I start asking those shoulders to move again. Again, this is the sticky direction, but I send her forwards, get some forward motion, and then I pull her in, and then you see those back feet finally walk forwards. So then I'm able to reward her by letting all the slack go and then try again in a new direction. So as I've said, there are nice things and there are challenging things about working a horse in a smaller pen for gentling. This pen is still above the minimum required BLM size for facility requirements for gentling a wild Mustang. It's about 20 feet by 35 feet, but as you can tell, it's a half size of my regular gentling pen. What we did was we took my regular gentling pen and we split it in half with panels, which is the original design I had when I first put this pen in. I put that post in by the barn with the intention of being able to split it in half in case I wanted to use a smaller size or be able to fit 2 Mustangs in this pen at once. But the challenge here is that there's not a lot of room to go somewhere. So a lot of her getting stuck is her feeling like there's no point to moving forwards, feeling like there's not really any objective or goal or anywhere that we are able to go. So that's just the challenging part, is once you get them over the pulling away reaction, it's hard to get them fluidly moving forwards. And as you can see, we're still dealing with some pulling away reactions. But the benefit of the smaller pen is that it's a lot easier to stick with her during these little feisty moments. And they're really actually not that bad. Out of all the Mustangs I've gentled and halter broke, she's been one of the easiest. She's 4 years old, and she's definitely not as strong as a mature horse, and she's not as stubborn either. The younger ones generally put up less of a fight, even though they can look really dramatic. She's really not pulling all that hard. She's just kind of figuring out what all this pressure means and how to get it to go away. And all you got to do is hang on through the feisty moments and give them the release when they calm their feet and then start to think about the right answer. So as you can see here, she's really getting stuck again with me trying to move her feet side to side and her not really feeling like there's anywhere to go, because there really isn't anywhere to go. There's only a few feet in front of her before she hits the fence again. So you can't really blame her for that. I go back to, in a minute, sending her shoulders over and asking her to walk forwards off of those lunging circles that I talked about, and we have a lot more success here in a minute. Now I'm really happy with the few steps that she's just given me, so I go in to reward her and love on her face a little bit, and here I hit a bit of a spooky spot. And whenever I hit a spooky spot, I don't just ignore it, even though we were working on something else. I make sure to work on that spooky spot a little bit and condition it out before we move on with what we were doing. So while the leading is not yet a finished product, you can see here that when I ask her to step forwards, she's really starting to understand, giving to that forward motion, even if it takes her a minute, and is starting to unlock the hind feet, which is the hardest part about teaching leading. So I was really happy with her, and this is where I ended the session that day. She still has a lot to work on, but I felt confident that we had a good start that we could finish working on the next day.